You're listening to the Future Tech Health Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Until I reached age 40, I never realized the obvious, that we all have medical issues, or we at least have a family member or close relation that has, or will have them in the future. Medicine and biological systems are the final frontier. Until we've conquered death, figured out how life began, cured cancer, and understood our purpose in the universe, there's a heck of a lot to talk about when it comes to our health. Future Tech Health means I'll be covering futuristic topics that are actually already in clinical trials, or even starting to appear on shelves or by prescription, or available for your own use. We dive deep into stem cells, CRISPR-Cas9, the science of sleep, epigenetics, medical testing, cancer, ketogenic diets, stem cells, aging, regenerative medicine, and more. My goal for you, the listener, is to learn from these podcasts. You may very well learn something that may change the course of your life for the better, steer you towards a new career, or give you insight into addressing a serious medical problem. Remember, however, this podcast and its content is informational in nature only. No medical, tax, legal, financial, or psychological advice is being given. If you enjoy the podcast, please listen, subscribe, like, and share it with friends. Thank you. Hello, this is Richard Jacobs with the Future Tech Health Podcast. I have Latham Woodward, CEO of a company called Shoogies. It's www.shoogies.com. So Latham, thanks for coming. How you doing?
Thanks, Richard. Very nice to be here. I'm doing well. And yourself?
Good. Yeah, so tell me about Shoogies. It sounds, it's an unusual name. Where does the name come from, first of all?
Well, basically, Shoogies is a sugar-based company. We do sugars infused with THC and CBD. And so it just was a catchy name, good-looking imagery, and fits the profile of what we do.
Okay. And what got you into infusing them with THC and CBD oil?
Well, basically, it came about from experience my wife and her friends were having with things like gummies, which are typically available in dispensaries around the United States and Canada. But what would happen is one of her friends would have a great time on the gummy that they ingested, but where the next friend would have a horrible experience because of supersaturation of THC in that individual gummy bear or candy. So we came up with a concept of how to get the chemical bond correct and package sugar and agave syrup in individually foil-packed stick packs with 5 milligrams of THC in each one. Very high engineering, very well mixed, so you're getting 5 milligrams every single time. Very predictable, and you can have more than one in an evening or a day with whatever you're doing.
I thought all the edibles were pretty highly regulated, and they had to demonstrate and have lab testing that the amount of THC they had or CBD was a certain level.
Absolutely. We are tertiary tested. We have 3 testing levels even before we go to market. Everything's exactly to spec. Very well engineered product.
Well, why would other products be out of levels then? Is it just because in one part of the product the THC is concentrated, or they didn't undergo testing, or why did you guys encounter that with gummies?
It's a random thing. So I use the chili pepper analysis, where there's a form of chili pepper that you can get at the market called around this Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. It's called the Jimmy Nardello pepper. It's very popular. Well, you fry them up, they don't have any heat to them, but 1 in 100 will knock your brain away, you know? So it's just very random. Sometimes in a gummy product, you can have a bond with THC that's very, very high, and you just don't know which one it's going to be. So it's somewhat of a risk.
Okay, but your formulation, you're able to make it a lot more uniform where you don't have that problem?
Yes, we make master batches, and we test that master batch 2 times, and then a final time before any final product goes out to market.
What about, it sounds like a novel process. What about licensing that to other edibles so that they don't have, high concentrations in the random edible?
We do have a commercial wing of our company where we are actively pursuing bakers, candy makers, and other people in the edible space to buy our pre-tested product to introduce into their lines, and we've been very well received in that notion.
And for users, people that would eat an edible, what happens if you get one that has the wrong concentration of THC and CBD? Like, what are some of the effects people have reported?
It can be traumatic to a person, especially a person who's not used to the THC effect. People can report things like paranoia, heart palpitations, or perceived heart palpitations. Usually, I'm not a doctor, but that's usually around perception that something will their high sensitivity internally, and in terms of your mind is telling you your heart is racing, but you're just hypersensitive to what's going on. So it can be very unsettling for people.
Yeah, no, that's true. That makes sense. And
And
why?
the problem is that people will not go back to using cannabis after an experience like that. They'll just say, "Oh, it's not for me," not realizing that they had a very novel experience because they got super dosed with THC.
Yeah, when people go to dispensaries, do the people, the bud tenders or whatever they call them, do they tell people that that could happen, or they don't make any disclaimers? They just say, "Here you go."
They don't make any disclaimers whatsoever.
So yeah, I can see how
sometimes,
this would.
sometimes they say, "Be careful," right? You go, "Be careful how much you take." This is the classical problem with chocolates. This is why we never wanted to do candies or chocolates of any sort, because we didn't want people are just chocoholics, right? Or they're sugarholics. So they'll start with one, and then half an hour will go by and say, "Oh, nothing's happening to me. I'll have another one." Well, that doesn't work out very well, because then an hour later they've had a hyperdose and they are not having a good time any longer.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. So what is what's a shoogie like? Is it like a Tootsie Roll, or is it like a chocolate, or what is it?
Well, the best way to describe it would be individual coffee servings you typically see in hotels in your room. A foil-packed Nescafe, for instance, comes in a little thin paquette that we call stick packs that you basically tear off the top and add the contents to water. That would be the Nescafe analogy. For us, you can take a sugar pack or an agave pack and add it to anything you currently do in your life. So if you're using sugar in your coffee, you can use our sugar. If you're drinking tea, you can use it in tea. If you're making a margarita, you can mix our agave into the margarita. If you have a sugar tolerance issue, like obviously many diabetics do, agave syrup can be a great sweetener for people with diabetes. Not for all people, but a lot of people. It's very easy. What we wanted to do was have a product that didn't require relearning things in your life. You don't have to go to a head shop to buy a bong or papers. You don't have to have some special apparatus. You're going to incorporate Shoogies products into your daily life the way you already use these products anyway.
Yeah, I like that. It makes a lot of sense. You could, if you like tea, you just put it in tea. If you, whatever you have, coffee, etc., then it's seamless. Makes total sense.
Yeah, and it's for people, and it's also inconspicuous. Our packaging is attractive. It's child-proof in its master package. You can take it to things you do in your life that perhaps you're going to be interacting with people who are not cannabis tolerant or don't understand cannabis yet, and it's not going to be offensive. You're not going to be smoking something in front of someone, for instance. That's a problem for a lot of people. This is a way to incorporate cannabis into your life and not interrupt other things in life.
Yeah, I'm sure it'd be like totally discreet if you did it the right way.
Exactly.
So what happens if I like to drink coffee, but I put in 3 or 4 sugars, and I just want one of these? What kind of solution do you have? Like people they just put in 3 of one and then one of these, or do they get any questions when they do that?
You certainly could do that, but because we've packaged the packages small enough, they are 1/4 ounce of sugar per, and that's by weight, per stick pack. So that's equivalent for most people to 2 cups of coffee in the morning. So you've got a fair amount of sugar, not too much. And you could always add more sugar if you wanted to.
Do you have different dosages of the THC in the packets, or is it just standardized to one?
Always 5 milligrams.
Okay, 5 milligrams you've seen is it's a good sweet spot for some reason.
Yeah, and frankly, this is a product that's engineered toward our lower body mass consumer, and that would be women in general. So we're engineering the product for the low body mass primarily, which means they can ingest and not have a problem with it. if you're a man, you certainly can take 2 of these and be fine, but not catering to just men and not catering to women. We cover all bases.
And when people take it, what do they report? They're just pleasantly relaxed, or do they feel a pretty strong buzz? Like what's a typical response to one of these?
A very, very mellow effect. 5 milligrams doesn't really get you stoned. It gives you kind of a nice, even feeling, some satisfaction, not really spacey. It's pretty nice effect, actually. I think people who've tried our product have said, man, this is a fantastic feeling.
Yeah, it sounds like you put a lot of thought into this. That's great. It's really good.
It's taken a long time to get the development and the formulation and the packaging together. It was not an easy task, and it took a lot of interaction with people, chemists, with food scientists, with packaging pros. It's been a real work, but it's been really worth it.
What about the type of I've heard there's like sativa, and there's I forget the other one, the other type of marijuana that can go into edibles. How do you blend that, or what do which way do you skew it? Are there different types of Shoogies, or just the one so far?
No, this is a distillate. We use a distillate in our product, so it's basically a distilled THC product. So you're not going to have any direct effect from being sativa or indica. It's just a pure THC product.
Oh, why do some products do have an indica or a sativa effect, and this one doesn't? Like I just don't understand the chemistry of it. What makes it different?
The chemistry, it's complex, and it does have to do a lot with the individual who uses it. They do have sativa effect. Typically, is considered to be uplifting, a little more energizing. Indica tends to be a little more relaxation based, just to kick back with. What you'll find with our product is it's a little bit of both. It's relaxing and it is uplifting. So you get both kind of holistic effect of both the indica and the sativa in one.
Oh, so have you guys found that that's the best, way to go is the middle of the road for both?
Absolutely. It's very hard to pinpoint the sweet spot of, being super active, or sweet spot of being too kick back and relaxed. That's the subjective thing. So utilizing a distillate product that distills the THC down to pure THC is the real way to go for us, and we're going to continue down that path.
Well, I could see if you did skew it, you could do like an evening, relaxer Shoogie, and then a morning, pick-me-up Shoogie, and then you could have a middle one. It'd be almost the same product, just skewed a little bit differently. So it's just an idea. Maybe it would appeal to different segments.
It may come in the future. We'll see. Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. And, I know certain states have recreational, certain states have medicinal marijuana. What states is this available in?
Currently, California, as the world's 5th largest economy, we've got our hands full here right now. We will be branching out to Colorado fairly shortly, and then to other legal states afterward. But California is a big fish to fry, as they say.
Yeah, definitely it is. So where does the product? Where is it carried right now?
Product will be on the shelves in 2 weeks at any Apex Service dispensary throughout the state of California. That's both Northern and Southern California. Apex is our distribution partner, and they do a great job. We just finished our second High Times Cannabis Cup show. We did one in San Bernardino last week, and we just finished Sonoma County Fairgrounds High Times show yesterday. The reception was incredible. People love the product. They love the packaging, love branding. We had visits from John Paul DeJoria, the owner of Paul Mitchell. We had a number of cannabis celebrities show up and check us out and try our product, and the reception was amazing. And because you do get 20 of our stick packs in a box for under $30, we hit a price point that people really, really like. It's just easy for people to deal with.
Yeah, that's really cool. And the box of them, how big is it? Can you hold it easily in your hand? Is it pretty small, or what's the size?
You can hold it in your hand, and it has a child-proof mechanism on it, so children cannot get into it. And it's attractive, so you could actually keep it in your kitchen or on a shelf, and people would go, "Wow, what is that? That's very cool." It's an attractive packaging meant to be for cannabis for the rest of us. We are the founders and myself. We're over 50. We've been cannabis users our entire life, but we recognize that within, you get to changes in your life. You're out over a certain age, you have children. Certain things you just don't do anymore. You're not going to get out a bong in the middle of a party when you're at a cocktail party. You're not going to do certain activities, but it's for everyone in the cannabis world. You could be young and like it. You could be old and like it. One of the biggest groups for me for attraction is my mother's bridge group, who continually ask me questions about the product because they're all on medications that they hate, and they're very expensive medications. And they're looking for relief and ways to modify their current prescription drug intake. Now, I'm not making any health claims on our product, but I can tell you that one of the big things for THC in general is it's not about curing your problem. It's giving you the ability to forget what ails you for just a little bit and give you some relief, because mental relief is half the battle.
Yeah, maybe people with anxiety, maybe it would appeal to them. I guess there's a lot of different uses.
I think the whole world of cannabis we're nowhere near the end of what it can be used for. I think we're right at the forefront of looking at a fantastic new world of less prescription drugs, more naturopathic ways to deal with ailments, more naturopathic ways of dealing with psychological problems. And it's not just cannabis stuff. It could be psilocybin and other things. A lot more things have to go into our thought process in the U.S. about what works and what does not, and what hurts more than it helps.
Yeah. So what kind of, you said you got a great reception. Are you seeing any particular demographic or age or gender that, seems to this appeal to more than others?
Women 28 to 65. It's a great,
Okay.
They love the packaging, they love the concept, and they like how low profile our product is and how they can integrate it in a attractive, cute way into their life and not seem like they're some stoner mom or stoner chick. That really is appealing. Men too, they liked it for the uses perhaps for alcohol, or for myself. I'm a non-drinker, and I use the product in what I call mocktails, where I just mix up some soda water and a fruit juice and some ice. That way, when my friends are at my house or we're out drinking, you can have something and not feel left out and not feel like you're being shunned from a group. So it has a lot of diverse uses that have yet to be fully explored. And I think the more people see it, the more people use it, the more we're going to see where this is going. But it gives people the opportunity to try to change behaviors and go in a really cool direction. And these are just the first two we've got coming out. We've got more in the pipeline. Sugar's our thing. That's why we're called Shoogies. We're going to have other sweetener products coming out, and it's going to be a great ride.
Yeah. Last question or two. What can you say about what's coming in the next year or so? Are you just going to expand distribution for this, or can you talk about what else you're working on?
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to expand this. And I would just look for more basic sugar type items that you currently use. We haven't nailed down. We're working on formularies for some of them still right now. But because we are called Sugars, we are the Shoogies. We are definitely focusing on the sugar-based products, because that's what we feel is our sweet spot, so to speak.
Yeah. One question with the THC distillate, does it have any smell, or is it?
No, we use a very in our taste profile is identical basically to the raw materials we use. We use USDA certified agave, USDA certified sugar for organic. Both of our products are also Biodynamic Standard EU certified. So you're getting the highest quality product as the backbone of Shoogies.
Okay. Well, very good, Latham. So the best way is going to be through, you said, Apex distribution centers, dispensaries?
Apex Distribution Network. So if you're listening to this now and you want to call your dispensary and to say, hey, do you carry Apex products? Do you carry Shoogies? That's a great way to start. Or you could just stop by a dispensary near you. Apex is carried in over 350 dispensaries in California, and they make great products and carry ours as well.
All right, that's great. Well, Latham, thanks for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
You're listening to the Future Tech Health Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Until I reached age 40, I never realized the obvious, that we all have medical issues, or we at least have a family member or close relation that had, has, or will have them in the future. Medicine and biological systems are the final frontier. Until we've conquered death, figured out how life began, cured cancer, and understood our purpose in the universe, there's a heck of a lot to talk about when it comes to our health. Future Tech Health means I'll be covering futuristic topics that are actually already in clinical trials, or even starting to appear on shelves or by prescription, or available for your own use. We dive deep into stem cells, CRISPR-Cas9, the science of sleep, epigenetics, medical testing, cancer, ketogenic diets, stem cells, aging, regenerative medicine, and more. My goal for you, the listener, is to learn from these podcasts. You may very well learn something that may change the course of your life for the better, steer you towards a new career, or give you insight into addressing a serious medical problem. Remember, however, this podcast and its content is informational in nature only. No medical, tax, legal, financial, or psychological advice is being given. If you enjoyed the podcast, please listen, subscribe, like, and share it with friends. Thank you.